Happy Monday! Welcome to another day of Mindset Breakthrough Days with Sandra Bravo. Thanks to Success Resources International and Tony Robbins. I am all the way in Queensland of Australia. Today, believe it or not, is my last day of our road trip adventure with myself, my girls, and our puppy Chloe. If you've been following us, we have been driving around in a motorhome all over Queensland. We went exploring all of the coast and the beautiful beaches and the bush and the islands and all of the magical places that we have in Queensland of Australia, which is like the tropical state of Australia. That's where we have the surf beaches and the beautiful weather all year round. And I'm very grateful and fortunate to live in such a beautiful state. And so because it was the school holidays and we weren't allowed to leave the state because of the COVID restrictions and no one else from outside the state can come into our state, we decided to hire a motorhome, which I had never driven one in my life before. And we just went on the adventure. We didn't plan anything. I mean, my girls had their little kind of bucket list of things they wanted to see, and all I did on the day we left is I looked at the map just to make sure that we wouldn't be backtracking, going to a place and then realizing the other place I wanted to see was backwards or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure we're going in the one direction, find out what our turnaround point would be, and then turn back. And we've been away for 12 days already. Can you believe it? It's been absolutely amazing. And we've been very lucky because we didn't pre-book anything because we didn't know where we were going. We didn't know what places we're going to love the most or which places we're going to meet people that are going to say, go and visit this, go and visit that. So we didn't pre-book. And it's very interesting what happens. Excuse me. We were super lucky to find amazing camping places. For some reason, there's this chain of camping places called Big Four. And that is like the highest standard of the camping places to go to. And they don't take in hippies or people that are, young people that are traveling for festivals and things like that. They like typically just families with kids. And then for some reason, they save the best spots for people with motorhomes. I don't know why they prefer motorhomes. They don't like people with tents or camper vans, or I don't know. I guess it's because we're low maintenance. All we need to do is plug into electricity and water, and we're self-contained. We have everything we need. We have a kitchen. We have a full bathroom with a shower. We have beds to sleep 4 people. Kitchen to sit 6 people. So we have everything we need on board of our motorhome. And so I discovered that this Big Four chain of camping places around the beaches and the best spots in Australia, they really like motorhomes. So they save the best spots for them. And we were so lucky because even though we didn't have any bookings and everything was packed because it's the school holidays, we managed to get in everywhere we wanted to go and get the best spots and the best camping places in terms of location and 5-star facilities and everything, except for the first night. The first night we left it too late, so by the time we arrived it was already dark. They had already closed, and so I rang like 5-6 different places and they were all completely full. So it was very interesting because it was the first day when I was learning how to drive this big monster, right? It's a diesel motorhome and I'm used to driving my Tesla, which is a lot smaller and faster, and it's electric. And so we that first night is when we couldn't find anywhere to stay, and I just thought, maybe it's gonna be like that the entire holiday. But you know what? Biggest lessons from Tony Robbins, right? Trade your expectations for appreciation. So we had no expectations. If we can get into places, fantastic, and if we can't, then we'll figure it out, right? And we have plenty of water, and there's only 2 things that wouldn't function if we don't plug into electricity, which are the electric plugs and the actual air conditioning. But everything else is, we have a solar panel, so it's kind of self-sustainable. And same for water. We have plenty of water to shower, to wash dishes, and to drink probably for 3 or 4 days. So, we were prepared. We gave in all of our expectations, and we just went for the adventure. And so the first night I'm learning how to drive this, it's actually called the Beast. The motorhome that we rented is called the Beast. So I'm learning to drive the Beast, which is this giant thing. But then, I just learned my limitations. I figured it has really good mirrors, really good reversing camera. I got used to the size, both the width and the length. And and the height, because you know that's one thing that you would never think about, but when you know you're nearly 4 meters high, you can't just go under anything. And then you know, how fast I can pass or not, can I pass over the hills or only going down the hill or a straight road, and all of those things. So that was an adventure, because the first night we literally just slept on a street on the beach. And then when I mean on the street, I meant we parked the motorhome on the street, and that's where we stayed for the first night. And then everything else went perfect. Like we wanted to do these tours by the time we got to Early Beach. And again, they're packed because it's school holidays, but we had no expectations. We just trusted. We just, kept turning it up to the creator and going, okay. And my girls know. They would be like, okay, Mom, if we get in, that's great. If we don't get in, Mom, it's because the universe has something better for us. Same with the tours. Mom, I want to do this. I want to fly over the reef. I want to do the private plane. I want to do the private helicopter and blah, blah. If we can get in, that's great. If not, Mom, it means the universe didn't want us to do it. It wasn't for our highest good, and the universe has something bigger and better for us. And I just love that my girls say that, because typically with kids, you would think they're so disappointed if things don't go as planned or if we can't get what they wanted. My kids are so good. They were just like, okay, Mom, it's fine. If the universe wants it, we'll get in. If not, the universe has something better for us. So that was really sweet. But we were super lucky. Like literally the most beautiful beaches, the best spots, we managed to get in. Same with the tours. By the time we got to Early Beach, we're like, okay, we want to see this island, this island, this island. We want to go scuba diving on the reef and go on the helicopter, blah blah. And we're calling and they're like, sorry, all booked out, all booked out, all booked out. But then I figured out the way to jiggle things so that when they told me I only have it available on Friday, and then the helicopter is only available on Sunday, so like we would move everything around to fit in the days that they had it available. And we didn't end up with any empty days that we couldn't book anything. We managed to do it all, Daydream Island, Hamilton Island, Hayman Island, going out on the reef, Langford Island, and doing the helicopter over the reef and over the islands, and going out to the pontoon, which is the Great Barrier Reef. That's the biggest reef in the world that we're fortunate enough to have in Australia. And they put a pontoon right out there in the middle of the ocean. It takes like 3 hours on a speedboat to get there. So snorkeling, scuba diving, the best spot, touching a turtle while we're snorkeling. It was just magical. And then guess what happens on the last day, which is why I want to talk to you about it today, because our topic is what to do when things don't go as planned. And Tony Robbins always talks about, well, first of all, trading your expectations for appreciation, but second of all, it's not what happens, it's how you react to what happens. What meaning do you choose to attach to the situation or the circumstance? What meaning do you choose to attach? How do you choose to focus on it? Do you choose to focus on what's wrong, what's lacking, what's not right? Or do you choose to focus on appreciation and gratitude and what's right and what's working? And you, just like me, always have two choices. Do you choose to focus on what's wrong, what's lacking? Or do you choose to focus on what's right and what do I have and what am I grateful for, right? So we always have the option of focusing on either or. My question to you is, what do you focus on most of the time? 51% of the time, what do you focus on? Because depending how you feel it, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling down, if you're not in a good emotional and mental and energetic state, guess what? You're going to choose to focus on the default, because your brain is wired to protect you from danger. So it's always acting from a place of fear, of, oh my God. And so that's the default. If you don't choose to do anything about it, your brain will automatically default to what's wrong with the intention of protection, right? Safety and all of that. So it is up to you to consciously choose to focus on what's right and what's working. And so this is exactly what happened to us yesterday, right? We're driving the motorhome. I've been driving for a few hours and I didn't know, okay? If you're a gentleman watching this, I bet you're going to think, oh my God, typical woman. Okay, yes, I am. Sorry. I'm a woman and I'm a blonde, and I had a really blunt moment. I didn't know that there was a section of about 200 kilometers where there are no petrol stations. Now, remember, at home I drive a Tesla, so I'm not familiar with petrol stations anymore, or where they are, or how long I can go without petrol or diesel, because Tesla is electric, so I'm only familiar as to where the Tesla charges are, right? Or how long do I need, how much battery do I need to get home to charge my car? So I didn't even think this motorhome is diesel. It has a big tank, but obviously I've been already driving probably for 3 hours, and then I didn't know this 200 kilometers with a petrol station. So all of a sudden I'm looking, and it's like I have 3 bars of my diesel. And I'm thinking, well, that should be fine. But then, you know, I keep driving and driving, and I don't see any petrol stations. Then I see 2 bars. I keep driving and driving, no petrol stations. I see 1 bar. I keep driving and driving. I see no petrol stations. So at this stage, I'm looking on my Google Maps, where is the closest petrol station? And it's telling me it's still 45 minutes away. And at this stage, I have 0 bars. The yellow light is flashing, saying you need petrol urgently, or diesel in this case, and it says 0, and the 0 keeps flashing at me, and the symbol of the you know, diesel or petrol keeps flashing at me. So I'm like, oh my God, how long? I know, again, in my car in Tesla, I know how long I can go once it says I have 0 battery. It still gives me another 45 to 60 kilometers, which is about another hour of driving. So I'm just hoping that this motorhome is the same, and it will give me another hour of driving when it already says 0 diesel, right? And so I keep driving, and I'm hoping that I'm gonna have another 45 minutes to an hour. In a moment, the girls will tell you their experience. And but sure enough, it gets to the point where I am just, the thing turns off, starts slowing down, starts to reduce the speed, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm only 10 minutes away from the petrol station. It's like, please, you can make it. No chance. So it starts to stop, and the worst thing is, I'm in the middle of the highway, and because remember, we're in tropical Queensland, so I'm not in the middle of the big cities, right? I'm driving through the mountains and the forest and the coast and all of these. So there is a single line highway, so only one way for that direction, one way for this direction. And on the side, there are cliffs and there are beaches. So I don't even have any space to pull off the freeway, to pull over. Because there's no room. Like if you pull over, you literally fall off the cliff. So thank God I had a very patient driver behind me that didn't mind. I just put my hazard lights, and I just kept going for as long as the motorhome could keep going until it completely fully stopped, because it started to go from 100 kilometers, 80, 60, right? So, and all I'm praying is that there's a little safe spot where I can pull over, so that I'm not right in the middle of the highway, stopping all the traffic, which is very dangerous. And so I finally find this little piece of dirt on the side of the road, so I can finally pull over, just so that I can be off the freeway, just so that we can be safe. And it's literally this tiny spot of dirt that I just fitted the motorhome. You know, this thing is like 8 meters long. And I'm like, oh my God, we're out of petrol. I'm alone in the middle of nowhere with the kids and the puppy. There is no phone reception. There is no Ubers or taxis in the area. We're in the middle of nowhere. And you know what? Tony Robbins' words came to me straight away. Like, what are you going to choose to focus on? What do you choose to focus on every instant? What is the default, the part that you focus on most of the time, 51% of the time that you choose to focus on? And so I immediately realized that the default could have been Sandra breaking into tears and panic and, oh my God, what am I going to do, right? But then the minute that I became aware, it's like, what do I choose to focus on? And I just went, you know what? I'm resourceful. My kids are resourceful. I've got to keep cool. I've got to keep calm. So the kids are calm. The dog is calm. And we'll find a solution. And it'll just be a great adventure. And I can do this. I've got this. I'm a resourceful girl, right? So, but it was really powerful, because I tell you what, the more work that you do with Tony Robbins, the more self-aware you become. And self-awareness is just magical, because you don't know what you don't know. You can't change or grow or improve if you don't even know that there's another level, another layer, right, to go to. But when you become so self-aware, it's so cool just to notice what are the defaults, where is your brain trying to take you to. But when you become aware, you can be in charge. You can step up and be in charge. And it's like, now I choose to focus on the positive. what's the good in this situation? What can I learn from it? How can I be resourceful? How can I stay calm and be the leader for my kids, the dog, the van, to get out of this, right? And we need to get out of this before it gets dark, because if it gets dark, it gets worse, right? We're in the middle of the freeway with no phone reception and no Ubers, no taxis, no one I can communicate with. So I'm like, I've got this. And I thought, okay, well, obviously I can't leave the kids in the motorhome. It's not safe. Plus, you know, the motorhome is parked in a place that is not safe, even though it's just off the freeway. If there's a big trailer or a big truck or someone that is, you know, falling asleep on the road and they come and hit us from behind or the side, like, we're gone. So I don't think people will want to give me a lift if I have the puppy with me. So, okay, puppy, Chloe, you stay in the motorhome. You're the quick, because before we leave, we always say to our dog, whether it's at home or holidays on the motorhome, we always say, Chloe, you're the queen of the house. You look after the house. Mommy comes back. We'll love you. Because I don't know if you know, but we have a Chihuahua, and Chihuahuas get anxiety very easily. And, you know, when they get anxiety, they get like just crazy. They age faster and they do silly things. So every time we leave the home, if she's not coming with us, we always say, Chloe, you're the queen of the house. You look after the house. Mommy loves you. We come back. Okay. And then she's fine. She knows that we're about to go, and that if we're going to take her, we just say the magic words, let's go. And she just goes crazy. She knows what to do. She knows where her seat is in my car, and, you know, she just gets ready. So I said that to her. I locked up the motorhome, and she stayed there. And I said to my girls, you're coming with me. And so here we are in the middle of the freeway, in the middle of nowhere, okay, asking for a lift, asking for a ride. And so we're literally there in the middle of it. I wish someone was filming us, because you would have been cracking up if you saw the three of us. Like, and I just said, well, you know what? Again, my default could have been focusing on what's wrong. Oh my God, this is the end of the world. What am I going to do? Right? But consciously, I chose to focus on the positive. So, because what do you do when things don't go as planned? Well, you have two options. You focus on the default, the negative, and become the victim, and it's the end of the world. Or you consciously choose to put yourself on a peak state, step up, and find the solution by being resourceful. So I thought straight away, focusing on the positive. Okay, well, I guess it's a good thing I'm a female, because it's more likely that someone is going to feel safe giving a ride to strangers that are a female versus a male. And I have the kids. So I guess female, 2 kids, we look pretty trustworthy. It'll be more likely for someone to trust us to stop and give us a lift, even though we're completely strangers in the middle of a freeway, right? And sure enough, so we're asking for lifts. Of course, many cars, remember, school holiday. Many cars are completely packed because they're with their families and they're all traveling. It's not like there's a lot of cars passing through this highway. Anyway, then this family, and I kind of saw them slowing down, but they didn't stop. They kept going. So we're like, okay, next one. And so we're still, you know, asking for a ride. And then I see this family turns around and comes back. And he said, where are you going? And I said, I run out of diesel. And as far as I know, the closest petrol station is 10 minutes away from here. Could you please give us a lift? He has a wife, 2 kids. They're a South African family, and they're on holiday. So their car is packed. They literally, the kids have their feet on top of things, and, you know, they've got the beach umbrella and the chair, and the car is packed. So he said, I'll take you. And so their kids squeezed to the corner. I put one of my girls on my lap, my other girl next to it, and we all squeezed in however we could. And you know what? I was so grateful. And I really admire them, because they're South Africans. And if you are familiar with South Africa, safety in South Africa is non-existent. It's like Mexico. And, you know, this is the thing. If I was in Mexico and someone is asking for a lift, I most likely wouldn't stop, because it's so dangerous. And so it's the same for this South Africa. So it was really sweet of them to trust, despite all the programming they may have in their mindset because of the country where they grew up, knowing that it's not safe. They've only been in Australia for about, I think he said 10 months. And anyway, so I put my timer on the phone, and I said, I'm pretty sure it's 10 minutes. And sure enough, as soon as it was 10 minutes, we can see the petrol station. And he just said, I can't take you back. And I said, no, I understand. And that's perfectly fine. It was huge. I said, you're a lifesaver. You're a guardian angel. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And so the girls and I got out of the car all excited and grateful that this family chose to trust us and give us a lift for 10 minutes down the highway. And then I walk into the petrol station and I'm like, please tell me you have diesel, not only petrol. And he's like, yes. And then he said, are you along with the kids, Baba? And I said, yeah, I ran out of diesel. I'm just 10 minutes up the freeway and up the highway. And so he was very kind. He lent me a big jerry can, and it already had a funnel in it. And then I put 20 liters of diesel. 20 liters is heavy to carry. It's 20 liters. So he goes, I'll lend you the jerry can. You come back and drop it off. And I said, yeah, sure. And then he said, you know that once you run a diesel engine dry, it takes a lot you have to manually prime it for it to start again. I'm like, oh, no, don't tell me that. He's like, yeah. And so he kind of explained me how to do it. And then he goes, look, if you have any trouble, if you can't get a lift or you can't prime the engine, he said, I finished work at 8. I can come and meet you and help you. And I said, well, thank you so much. But right now it's 4:30. I don't think I want to wait until 8 o'clock. I said, we'll be fine. We'll see you soon. Thanks. And then imagine, okay, I've got my kids and I'm trying to carry this 20 liters heavy jerry can. So we get back onto the highway on the opposite direction, because now we want the cars going on that direction. Before we wanted them going on this direction. And here we are again, asking for a lift. And, you know, it's quite scary when you're standing on the side of the freeway and these giant trucks and trailers drive past and everything shakes and they're like this close. So I said to the girls, let's stand as far as we can from the highway so we can be safe, but I'll put the jerry can where it's very obvious and visible so that people realize what happened and they can trust us enough to give us a lift. And so here we are, you know, I don't know how long, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And then this guy passes, stops, reverses, and then he says, I said, I run out of diesel. Would you mind just taking me back to the motorhome? He's like, sure thing. So he puts a jerry can in the boot, gets a soda, and he goes, you know what? I thought you guys were backpackers, so I wasn't going to stop because I'm only going to the next town where I work. So I figured if you're backpackers, you probably want to go further. I can't help you much. But then I saw the jerry can, which was my intention. Remember, I left it visible so people could understand what's happening when we're asking for a lift. And he said, I saw the jerry can, and so I figured out, and that's when I realized I could help you. And the 10 minutes was completely out of his way because he actually needed to turn left to go into this little town. So it was 10 minutes one way and 10 minutes to come back out of his way on the highway to get us there. And he was so kind. He was such a lovely guy, a guy from Sydney. And we're chatting away, and then I said, you know, this has never ever happened in my life before. First time, and I hope it's the last one. I didn't know that there were 200 kilometers without a petrol station, and whatever, great experience. Anyway, so we get there, we find the motorhome sound and safe, my puppy in it. The guy gets out of the car, and he actually puts the diesel in for me, which was really sweet. And then sure enough, the engine doesn't start because I run it dry. And we can't even find the button up to this day of where to open the bonnet of the, you know, where the engine is. So anyway, I just tried to start it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and I'm pressing the accelerator. And finally, I think I pumped it enough to prime it that at the 3rd go, it finally started. So we were like, yes! Anyway, again, I said to the guy, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're a guardian angel. You're a lifesaver. Thank you. And so it only puts us back about an hour and 15 minutes to what we were expecting to travel that day, because now we're on the way back home. Today's our last day. And because it's a long drive, it was like 13, 14 hours. I thought I'll drive 6 or 7 today. We'll stay the night somewhere and then 6 or 7 the next day, because I don't have anyone to share the drive with. I've been the private chauffeur for my girls for the last 12 days. And so anyway, we still drove another hour and a half until it got dark. And then a little Brie, who is very resourceful, found us a place to stay for the night to, you know, connect to electricity and water. And, you know, it's bizarre because I had already planned to talk to you today during this live about what do you do when things don't go as planned? How do you react? What do you choose to focus on, right? Did you just go into victim mode? Oh my God, it's the end of the world. There's nothing I can do for me, which I could have. I could have just broken into tears and go, oh my God, it's the end of the world. What am I going to do? Or do you choose to consciously focus to overcome the default of where your brain would take you, consciously focus on what's right, what can I do? How can I appreciate and be grateful for what I have? How can I become resourceful? Because there is never a lack of resources in the universe. There is only a lack of resourcefulness. Okay? So if your excuse so far has been, I don't have the time or I don't have the money to attend UPW virtual with Tony Robbins, Well, I invite you to rethink that. There is never a lack of time or a lack of money in the universe. It's only, the question is, how resourceful are you to make it a priority so that you can reallocate your time to block off the 4 days, 22nd to the 26th of October, to attend UPW Virtual. If you're telling yourself that you don't have the money, you know what? It's not that you don't have the money. Surely you can come up with $395. You know, what can you sell? Just go around your house and figure out how much crap you have that you've been holding on to, hoarding, that you no longer use, that you no longer need, that you can sell straight away on the marketplace or Gumtree or whatever it is, and or eBay or you know, Facebook, whatever, and come up with the money. So it's never a lack of resources, it's always a lack of resourcefulness. But when you make the decision that this is a priority, that this is important to you, you become resourceful enough to figure out the way. You know, what other things are you going to give up buying and wasting your money on so that you can have the $395 to get you ticket for UPW Virtual with Tony Robbins? What other things are you going to change around in your calendar so that you can allocate yourself the time of the 4 days to be with the man, the legend, the one and only Tony Robbins for UPW Virtual 22nd to the 26th of October? So how do you react when things don't go as planned? How do you put yourself on a peak state to become resourceful, to figure out how to come up with the resources, whatever those resources might be? Time, money, ideas, opportunities, people, whatever the resources. How do you put yourself on a peak state? How do you prime yourself? Well, we've been talking about all this every day. If you haven't watched the previous ones, whatever you're watching this stream today, scroll down to watch the previous days where we've been talking about a peak state and priming yourself in the morning and becoming resourceful, etc., etc. So I hope this is a great message for you, because it's real life. It just happened yesterday, literally. Today is Monday. Well, it's Monday for me in Australia. Hopefully if you're in America or Mexico, it might still be Sunday night. But if you're in Europe, good morning. It's Monday morning. And if you're in Australia or Asia, it's Monday afternoon. So how do you become resourceful? How do you make a priority your own growth, your personal development? You know, are you going to sit with your arms crossed waiting for the pandemic to end? Are you going to sit with your arms crossed feeling like a victim because you lost your job or your business is not going as planned, or, you know, you're having issues with your personal relationships or your health? Or are you going to step up and decide to take action, to focus on what you can do and become resourceful? And I don't know anyone better in the world to help you get there than Tony Robbins himself, who will be holding your hand for 4 full days in the comfort of your home during UPW Virtual 22nd to 26th of October. Girls, you want to come and share what your experience was like yesterday? We just had lunch and we are heading back. We should be home in a few more hours. But let's see, I just told you my story. In the meantime, go get your ticket on bringthefreedom.com. You'll find the link below, bringthefreedom.com. Get your ticket. And Bree's going to share with you what was the experience like for her yesterday running out of diesel in the middle of the freeway, and how resourceful she was to get us accommodation for the night.
Oh, is that good?
Share with us.
So basically what was happening was, so we were running out of diesel, and we knew this like a full hour before. So we were just trying to find like diesel areas and stations. So basically what was happening was we were just driving down to try to see if we could find like petrol stations or whatever. And we find one, but it's closed for renovations.
Oh, yeah.
So like, oh, dang it. So we have to keep on going for like another, like a lot. I don't even know, like 1 hour extra. Kept on driving. And then I'm in the seats, asleep, like fast asleep. And then I wake up and all I hear is my mom and my sister. Oh! So I was like, what's happening? And they're like, we just ran out of diesel. And I was like, well, how close is the next station? Like, I'm sure we can walk or something. And she's like, 10 minutes. But like, in reality, it was like 20 or something. And
well, 10 minutes driving, which would have been hours walking.
Yeah. So we're like, oh, dang it, right? And it's not like we can even walk, because the sides are just roads and then trees and whatever. So we can't actually walk through either way. Like, it'll take us quite a long time and we'll most likely die from like stepping on something. Anyway, so we're just like, we're going or whatever. And then my mom was like, well, you know what, we're going to have to get someone to take us because we can't stay here. We need to get it back by today. What are we going to do? Like by tomorrow, I mean, which is today, you know.
How did you feel, Brie? Were you scared or excited, or how was it for you?
I was actually kind of scared because, like, when you're looking at it, we were just like, you know, what are we going to do? Okay, so Mom was like, you know, I'm just going to go outside. I'm going to ask for some, like, stuff, like, so some people to drive us, and hopefully we get a drive. So, like, you know, get into proper clothes because I was just in, like, my PJs or whatever. So then we like, my mom goes out and she's trying to find someone. And then I go out and I was like, should we bring a knife, like in case of emergency? Because this is in the middle of nowhere. There are like no petrol stations for like, you know, another 10 minutes. And he could, if we got into a person's car, he could easily just cross. And we probably couldn't get out because he could be locking the doors, right? So we're like, oh no, like, should I just bring a knife in case? And, you know, my mom was like, no, it's fine. So we eventually, after we're all changed it over, we find a very nice family that says, I'll come like tomorrow, let's go. So we hop in and we go down to the petrol station. He was like, I can't take you guys back though. So we're like, yeah, fine. So we hop out. They were African, so yeah. And you know, what Mom was saying, it's very dangerous for them, so very nice for them to let us come in.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you feel when we finally got back at the end with the diesel and the gentleman?
Okay. Let me talk. I'm sharing my experience.
Yes, thank you.
Anyway, and then yeah, so then once we were like there or whatever, we were like, okay, yep. So the Africans, they had a very spaced like up car. It was very like it was basically for, yeah, except one teensy seat for all three of us.
Yeah.
So they have to scooch over. Alana goes in one seat. I'm sitting on my mum's lap, and they drive us there, which is very kind of them. Very awkward though.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, and then we go there. We're like, do you have any petrol or whatever? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we go, we get it, fill it up, and then it's very heavy. So we're like struggling to walk across the road with it. And then we finally get to the other part of the road, you know. And then we're there for like quite a long time, actually, like 10 minutes maybe. Like it was long. And eventually I'm just like, oh my God, are we actually going to even get back to the freaking camp? Like, you know, motorhome, what are we going to do? So then we're all like, help. I'm like, and it was just like so annoying. And then eventually there's this guy that sees us, and he's like parks over going our way. He was like, what's wrong, whatever. And thank goodness he parked, because he thought we were just like hikers or whatever, you know, going around. So, you know, at first he was going to be like, no, I shouldn't. But then he saw that we had a diesel, like big box thing. He was like, you know what, yeah, sure, I see the situation. So then he comes, like around, stays there. He was like, what do you guys need? And we're like, you know, blah, 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 thing, like, you know, broke down. We need help. So he's like, yeah, sure, jump in. His car was also very full with like all this stuff because he was getting, he like had to go to like a small town.
Yeah, he looked like he was a ranger or something.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stuff in his.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was like, I don't know, but he had a lot of tools and stuff. So we're like, okay, we hop in, move all the tools around, and then we get driving. Much less awkward than the family.
Mm-hmm.
He was much nicer. He was alone though, so you know. And then eventually we got to the area, and you know, but Mum, of course, I don't know, she doesn't know how to put the diesel in or how to like do any of it. So he has to help us, and then we're like,
offered to help.
Yes, and then we're all putting it in or whatever. He actually said, "Do you know how to do it? I'll do it for you. It's fun." Anyway, so then he puts it in for us, gets diesel all over his legs, so very nice of him. And then he like, you know, does everything. And then it didn't get working the first couple times. So I was like, are we gonna make it? And then but it ended up getting good and whatever. And then, you know, we get going and yeah, it's pretty scary, actually.
How do you feel at the end of it?
I felt very good that we got it working and that it all worked out for us. The universe is giving us signs. You know?
You're proud of ourselves for being resourceful?
Yes.
And then who found us a place to stay that night?
Yes. So then we like keep on going or whatever, trying to get to our 7-hour destination. So we finally get there and we need to find a place to stay. So we're like, oh dang it, because we already missed all of the other parks, like 10 minutes down the road, because we were already on the highway with no turns. So like dang it, so I'm searching up all these ones on Google Maps and they're all like 25 minutes. You have to like, I don't know, you have to jump off a freaking highway to get to the other bridge to turn around so you can go the other way. Like it was really bad. So then eventually I find this very run down one. Did not look the best at all, but I was like, you know what, we just need a place to stay. It was 5 minutes down the road. We didn't have to cross the freaking bridge or anything, jump off. So it was very good. And then I was like, yeah, me.
Resourceful girl.
So it was actually very bad. We could only be in the shower for 5 minutes and the water pressure was really bad.
We just needed water and electricity.
But we got through it. Happy we found one. So yeah.
Cool. Was it a cool experience? Yeah. What did you learn from the experience?
But you just need to be resourceful. Don't have a mental breakdown unless it's really, really bad.
Yeah, say it to the camera.
Don't have a mental breakdown if it's really, really bad. Be resourceful.
That's right. So that's our lesson for how to be resourceful, how to take charge of what you choose to focus on when things don't go as planned, and have to be resourceful. So I hope you're going to be resourceful enough to allocate the time and the money for you to attend UPW Virtual with Tony Robbins himself, 22nd to 26th of October, because we look forward to seeing you there. You can get your tickets on bringthefreedom.com. So that's it. You will be catching us tomorrow, same place, same time, but I will be at home then. So I'll give you more details about all of the experiences we had over the last 12 days traveling the road in Queensland. So on behalf of Success Resources, Tony Robbins, and myself, Sandra Bravo,
and me,
signing off from Queensland of Australia. See you tomorrow, same place, same time. Bye. For now.